You know that feeling when you're staring at a list of NAS options and the numbers start to blur? How many terabytes do you really need? Will the device actually handle the daily backup load? And will you end up paying a premium for features you'll never use? I get it, and that's why I'm not going to launch straight into a spec sheet. I want to talk about the moments that matter when you actually plug a unit like the Buffalo TeraStation 5820DN into your office network, and whether those moments justify the price tag. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the TeraStation 5820DN is positioned as a full-scale business NAS, and that's a pretty specific market. It ships with 420 TB NAS-grade drives already installed in a RAID 5 configuration, which translates to about 54 TB of usable space out of the box. For a small to medium business that runs a handful of file servers, a design studio juggling large video projects, or a medical office handling imaging files, that amount of protected storage can be a genuine game changer. The fact that the drives come pre-configured saves you the headache of setting up the array yourself, and the RAID 5 layout gives you one drive's worth of parity, meaning a single disk can fail without any data loss while you replace it. Now, the real question is, does it fit your workflow? If you're the kind of user who needs fast, reliable transfers for multi-gigabyte files, the built-in 10 GB port is the headline feature you'll feel first. In practice, I've seen teams moving 30 GB video clips from workstations to the NAS in under a minute, which is a stark contrast to the 12-minute latency you get on a standard 1 GB connection. That speed isn't just about convenience. It directly reduces bottlenecks in collaborative environments where multiple editors might be pulling footage simultaneously. However, you do need a 10 GB capable switch or NIC in your network, otherwise the card will fall back to 1 GB, and you won't see the performance advantage. Another practical strength lies in the snapshot capability. The TeraStation can create point-in-time snapshots of shared folders, giving you instant recovery if someone accidentally deletes a critical file or a ransomware script encrypts a directory. In a real-world scenario, a legal firm could roll back a case folder to its state from 2 days earlier with just a few clicks, avoiding costly downtime. The snapshots are stored on the same array, so you don't need extra external hardware, but that also means you need to allocate part of your already tight 54 TB usable pool for versioning. If you plan to keep many snapshots over long periods, you'll have to manage the space carefully or expand the array later. Cloud integration is another area where the TeraStation tries to add value. It supports sync with Dropbox, Amazon's 3, Microsoft Azure, and OneDrive. For businesses that already have a hybrid backup strategy, the NAS can act as the local cache, pushing new files to the cloud during off-peak hours. I've watched a marketing agency set up an automated nightly sync to S3, which gave them a quick local restore point and a secure off-site backup without having to manage separate software. The downside is that the cloud sync feature is not as granular as dedicated backup solutions. You can't set per-folder retention policies directly from the web UI, so you'll need to rely on the cloud provider's settings for deeper control. When it comes to security, the TeraStation includes 256-bit encryption at the hardware level, and the firmware is built for stability with regular updates from Buffalo. That's reassuring for anyone handling sensitive client data, because the encryption is applied on the fly without noticeable performance hits. The device also offers iSCSI target support, allowing you to map the NAS as a block device to a server for database storage. In a test environment, a small PostgreSQL instance ran on the iSCSI LUN with acceptable latency, but it's not a substitute for a dedicated SAN if you have high transaction workloads. So who should actually buy this machine? If you run a business that regularly stores and shares large files, think architects, video editors, engineers, or medical imaging departments, the combination of 10 GB built-in snapshots and a solid 54 TB of protected capacity is a compelling package. It also makes sense for IT departments that want a turnkey solution. The pre-installed drives, RAID configuration, and one-click cloud sync mean less time spent on initial setup. On the flip side, if you're a solo freelancer who only needs a few terabytes for documents and occasional media, the price per terabyte is likely higher than a DIY NAS built with cheaper drives. Likewise, if your network infrastructure is still stuck at 1 GBE, you won't tap into the speed advantage, and you may be better off with a more modest unit that matches your existing hardware. The practical weaknesses are worth spelling out. First, the device is a desktop-style chassis, which means it needs a stable, climate-controlled environment. It's not ideal for placement in a dusty hallway or a cramped home office without proper ventilation. Second, while the RAID 5 setup offers redundancy, it doesn't protect against multiple simultaneous drive failures,